Hey guys, Dave and Anna
Hey.
here. We are going to do another play through the news where we play a video game while talking about some news that's going on.
Yeah. What's up this week?
What is up this week? Well, we'll get to that, and we're also gonna possibly try and put this up as a podcast, so we'll see how that works
See how
out.
that goes. No, what game are we playing?
Oh, well, what game are we playing? We are playing Cyberpunk 2077 on the
Yes.
PlayStation 5.
Yes. That is why it currently is working, though I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure if I start driving around, it will stall out very
Right.
quickly. So I'll
Um,
probably just have to run around a bunch.
yeah, if we were playing it on a PC, that would probably be even better.
Oh, yeah.
If we were playing it on a PS4 or the old Xbox, that probably wouldn't be functioning at all.
No.
Wow, that's a styling
Well,
guy.
look at this guy. I don't even know what's happening with him. Oh, he's a cop. So yeah, let's start off this play through the news week with the big news of the week, which is this game right here, Cyberpunk 2077. How the
Yeah.
mighty have fallen, and
Uh,
yet did we all expect? Did we all put our hopes and dreams a little too much on this
you know,
game?
here's the thing. I have a lot of faith in CD Projekt Red.
Hmm.
And they delayed the release of it. I have to assume that they had wanted to delay it further.
Hmm.
But it seems like between the uh, video game loving public and the investors, I think they were forced to put it out earlier than they wanted to.
Yes, I agree with
And
that.
and so what ended up coming out was a game that was not ready for um, not ready for the consoles. Clearly, like I said before, ready for PC. It does seem to be everyone I know that's playing on PC is freaking loving it and having like none of the issues that any of us on consoles are having. And even us on PS5, we're having some issues, but it's not that bad. It plays through pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, well, I'm hacking guys up, and I apologize if this is too violent for y'all, but I got to be cyberpunking. I agree with everything you've been saying. I mean, it has been such a colossally bad rollout. It has
Hmm.
been something that will kind of always be remembered for a lot of ways and how chaotic it is. I
Yeah.
mean, first off, you have just it not working on on PS4 and Xbox One, the last generation. And considering this is a game for that generation, that's a problem. But
Hmm.
then on top of that, like it keeps on getting worse, right? It's like people couldn't get refunds for a while, and then leading to PlayStation straight up just taking it off the PlayStation Store. You can't even currently buy this game on the PS4 if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, and then you have people that are like they're getting their refunds and then they're getting pissed that they can't still play the game. And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, you don't get it both ways. Like, oh my God, I saw this great thing that someone was sharing around the internet where someone's just I still want to be able to play this game. I just got my refund, but I still want to play it. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
If you want your refund, you're getting a refund because you're returning the game. Like, even
Yeah.
though it's a digital copy, it's you giving it back. It's you saying, I don't want this game anymore because it's too broken.
Yeah, you gotta kind of wonder about people like that, you know?
It's
It's
just it's a
like,
sense of entitlement that's just obnoxious, and honestly, it's probably the same people that were, screaming about how it wasn't coming out soon enough in the first place and are the reason that it came out as a broken game, you
yeah,
know?
I 100% agree. I mean, the fact is that, CD Projekt Red made this game that is huge
Hmm.
and it's like kind of magnificent in a lot of ways. But if it's so broken you can't play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Once again, we're playing on the PS5. We have friends who are playing on the
PC.
PC,
Yeah.
and it works great for them.
Yep.
And and I'm having a great time
Yeah,
like playing this game, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I totally agree. I think it's a really enjoyable game, and there's so much to it. And the other thing is that, like I said before, I have a lot of faith in CD Projekt Red. They're one of those companies that actually cares about their fans and actually cares about the people that are playing the games. It's the reason that Witcher, has all of that DLC that comes out that you don't have to pay for. They're the company that you don't make complaints about, like for the extra stuff. They're not the ones that nickel and dime you for everything, and so like I think that it's up to us as video game fans and people that, purchase video games to have some faith in these companies and, give a little credit and a little time when needed. But, will it ever be will it ever be really playable on like PS4 and stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it's kind of like how the mighty had fallen, right? I think CD Projekt Red was kind of the gold standard of video game companies. Like when other companies were like, like when EA was like charging up the wazoo just to play like cool Star Wars characters in that last Battlefront game, CD Projekt Red was giving you free DLC for The Witcher.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the thing. I mean, they have been kind of the guys that you expect great things from and are kind of humble. And then for this to happen feels like just a real kick in the ribs. And so much so that actually a lot of the development team went to the higher ups of CD Projekt Red, demanding answers for why they, rushed it. Even though they
Hmm.
delayed it, they essentially like put it out when they knew it wasn't working. The crunch time issue they had gone into. I mean, it's a big kind of thing. And not only that, but there's now actually a lawyer who's an investor in CD Projekt Red that is actually considering suing the company for like essentially misleading for the product.
But again, this is where I ask, is the reason that it had to come out when it did was that pushes from the investors? Like I
No.
wonder. I don't know. I've zero inside knowledge on this stuff and the reality of it, but that's usually why things get pushed in that kind of way, why they get released before they should, because you have to, get it in before the next quarter so that your investors are happy.
Yeah. No,
So,
you're right. I mean, it is ultimately all about that, and they legally are obliged to make a profit for their investors. I will say though, for anyone watching right now wondering why I just disabled all those guns and sort of sold them, I am currently still using the painting hack where I can basically sell a painting for 4,000 and buy it again for $5 and then sell it again for 4,000. It is
yeah.
maybe the greatest thing that has ever happened in video games.
Yeah, it's one of those glitches that you hope they don't patch anytime soon.
Well, it
So
was a buddy of ours was like, "Oh, we better use this for they patch it." I'm like, they're probably not going to patch it for a while. This is the best press they've gotten in weeks.
yeah,
But anyway, long story short, it's a weird time for this game because if you're able to play it, I think it's a really good time.
yeah,
Unfortunately, a lot of people can't because but this is like a top down problem though, right? Because there's also just the issue of like there's not enough freaking PS5s or Xbox, the new Xbox series either.
yeah.
Like it's like they're. I mean, listen, I'm not blaming those guys for CD Projekt Red putting out a game that doesn't work,
Hmm.
obviously. But at the end of the day, like if everyone who wanted a PS5 could get a PS5, this probably would have been slightly less of a blowback.
Slightly less. Yeah, I mean, it's also one of those things where it's like, what if they had just released on like PC first?
Yeah.
Then they would have gotten nothing but good press
Yeah,
on
but
it.
people would have freaked out. I mean,
I
that is
know.
the other thing. It's like, did you? Sorry, because I'm trying to play and listen. Did you talk about the death threats the developers are getting from fans because they had to wait like 8 years for this game?
No, and that's, again, this is they were trying to make something epic. They did make something epic. If on the PC, it's epic.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, for those of us on consoles, it's not the same thing. But I mean,
Well, for
honestly,
those of us on
on
on the
right,
last gen
last
console,
gen,
yeah.
right. For anyone on a PS5, like we said, has some issues, but nothing dire.
I mean, I will say though, the reason I'm mostly on foot right now
Yeah,
is because I know if I'm driving, it'll probably crash.
yeah,
I mean, so it's not like completely perfect by any means on the PlayStation 5.
yeah.
It's like it's in a lot of ways really good, but anyway, it's also pretty messed up.
I mean, they do
Uh-oh.
keep doing patches, and it seems like patches have
Oh,
cleared up certain issues that we've had. But it's still not perfect. And yeah, like you said, every time we're in a car, almost every time we're in a car, we the thing crashes.
yeah, it's a bit
The
of a
car
problem.
doesn't crash.
No. Well,
Well, the game.
sometimes it does, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with you driving, it's going to crash,
I
but
I have
usually this
bumped
the game crashes first.
I've literally bumped into a car and it'll fly way up in the air
Yep.
it's like what was that thing that was years ago like LeBroning was it called when somebody would tap somebody and they'd fly backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep track of all the trends.
You know.
That thing that people did on before TikTok was even a thing yet. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so enough of CG Project Red. I just hope that, I mean, honestly, we've talked about this before in our review. I just hope that, like, there's light at the end of the tunnel, that CD Projekt Red patches this thing so that people who bought it can play it and enjoy it the way that, we and a few of the other people that have been able to play it stably are enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want a world where CD Projekt Red is not considered like a great company.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be really, really sad.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to, oh man, so no spoilers, and I think this will be really quick, but man, if you do not have Disney Plus and are not watching The Mandalorian, you are missing out big time. I would even say, even if you weren't a Star Wars fan, it's excellent TV watching, and that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, we're obviously geeks. We love all the geeky stuff, but we've never been the biggest Star Wars fans. We watch the movies, you know, we're clearly watching The Mandalorian, but no, Mandalorian has done such a great job of making something that does great fan service for those people that have been fans for years, for decades. While also making it really appealing for people that are just getting into it or are just, casual Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It is freaking phenomenal in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, and like the amount of Baby Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the Baby Yoda show.
Yeah.
But frankly,
the amount of surprises in this season, which by this point you've probably been spoiled on them, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about them. But it is, oh my God, season 2 just kicked butt.
Yeah, it was
so much fun.
It was unbelievable. I mean, like you said, like the amount of fan service, the amount of I think that there's a lot of, well, I know there are plenty of people that did not like the last trilogy, or at least didn't like the last two. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for those kind of more purists, when it comes to Star Wars fans, this is the thing for you. This is the Star Wars for you. But I also don't think it's that exclusive though either. I think, even if you did like the other ones, you'll still like this. It's just good entertainment.
It is. Yeah, no. Jon Favreau did a great job of making something that is just a completely enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I couldn't be happier. And frankly, now I just don't want to wait for the next season. But at the same time, yeah, I know. But man, it's worth the wait. It's really excellent. This is kind of crazy. Speaking of Disney Plus, there's this rumor that there might be a Firefly reboot. I mean, what do you think about that?
It's one of those shows that was pulled too early, in the tradition of Fox TV. It didn't get as much of a chance as it should have. It got a season. They got a movie that was fantastic.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Serenity is great.
Yeah. That was, I think, my first time ever seeing Chiwetel Ejiofor in a movie.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just people love Nathan Fillion. It is impossible not to. The cast of that show is fantastic. The show itself was just it's a space western. Speaking of Star Wars, which is another space western, but this was a classic western in space. And it was so much fun.
Kind of before anybody was doing that, right? Yeah. It was kind of like somebody was just like, oh, what if, Han Solo just had all this ragtag group of people and they were just running around.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of in the spirit of something like a Cowboy Bebop.
Yes. 100%.
It's such a good show, and I am more than happy if they bring it back, if they bring that show back to life. Obviously, I'm assuming it would be completely recast, or I don't know if it's sort of one of those reboots or reboot sequels, or what. But
I was kind of wondering about that. Because I feel like the move now is to have the same cast show up, but at the same time it be a newer group, right?
Yeah,
kind of like
maybe
the Force
one of
Awakens.
the members of the cast is part of the new cast or something, or maybe they just occasionally show up. Yeah, it probably if this is true, I mean, and this is still more or less rumor as far as I know.
Yeah.
Probably more of the reboot sequel than than a straight up reboot.
I feel like that because I don't think you could find another Mal. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you can't really separate Nathan Fillion from that character. I feel
Hmm.
like it's gonna feel like, and I feel bad, but it's like the guy who played the new Han Solo,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, like I thought he did a great job, but like no one's gonna accept that because Harrison Ford is Han Solo.
Well, the nice thing is that the Firefly referred to the class of ship that it was. So
Yes,
it wasn't even the specific name of that ship, it was the class of ship.
yeah.
So it could be another ragtag ragtag group in a Firefly class ship.
Yeah, and also I feel like, I can't remember what they're called anymore. Were they called brown coats or what
Yeah.
were they called? I mean, it's like there's got to be other people that were like,
Hmm.
that were somehow allies,
Yeah.
to Mal and Zoe and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think that show, it has gotten it has sort of gotten the recognition it deserves now, just based on the fact that like it's famous, but it was definitely ahead of its time and a great show.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cult classic while it was still on.
Yeah.
So
Though I don't feel like Joss will be involved.
yeah, probably not. Maybe his
Yeah.
brother.
Maybe his brother. I'm sorry, I'm playing it. Wait, what am I missing?
Didn't his brother run Agents of Shield or
Oh, did he? I don't know. I'm too focused on this game to know
he
those
didn't
things.
like wasn't it like Jed Whedon and
Oh yeah.
Sankaron
Look at
or
that.
whatever? Yeah.
Well
Anyways.
done. Well done. All right, so let's go on to the next thing. Oh my God, HBO Max is finally on Roku.
Yeah. Took a
I just,
while.
I just,
I,
I,
I mean, this is all that business stuff that like the people in the background, those of us that are just the people that are trying to watch this stuff don't know about, but it's contract negotiations and stuff that were clearly stalled and finally got dealt with.
I'm
So,
just happy because we have a Roku, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I've been
yeah.
wanting to watch HBO Max on the Roku, and it's like, get it together,
Yep.
figure it out.
And now we can.
Now we can. Oh wow. Okay, so it looks like Netflix is going to make a live action Yu Yu Hakusho show. What?
Yeah, yeah, Yu Yu
Hakusho.
Hakusho.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's such a classic anime and manga, and it's one that God, I think they used to have on Toonami because I watched it like so many years ago.
That's the thing. Same experience for me. I definitely watched it and I definitely liked it. I
Yeah.
remember the first season being like a little dry for me, and then it definitely like getting pretty awesome. It
I
kind
mean,
of gets like
Spirit
DBZ-ish.
Detective. It's such a cool, it's a cool idea. It's one that since then is I feel like has been done in other things, but
Yeah, well I feel like Bleach basically took the idea of Yu Yu Hakusho and turned it into like Samurai Champloo meets DBZ.
yeah,
Like I think that like that basic idea is a lot like Bleach and
yeah.
a lot of other things. I mean, there was this whole string of anime a few years ago where the whole plot was like the main character dies in the very beginning, and it's like, yeah, like Yu Yu Hakusho, like,
Yeah.
created so long ago.
Yeah. So the main thing about this is that I think it's finally one that's not an American series, if I'm not mistaken.
It seems like because according to the makers, they say they're going to make a group of creatives from all over the world.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's Spirit Detective, so and Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke should not be American. Um,
no, that would be pretty wild. Yeah.
yeah. It's one of those things where like they made the wrong decision with Death Note.
Yeah,
Uh,
they did.
at least with Cowboy Bebop, that's still a work in progress. Having an Asian lead was a good idea on their part,
Yeah,
but
100%. I mean,
um,
I think it needs to be, it definitely needs to be, Japanese made.
mhm.
I think that's the right way to go. But
Yeah,
I think, that's what's cool about Netflix is they're a worldwide company, so, and I think frankly, if you're a fan of anime, it makes more sense.
I think that it is important on these adaptations for somewhere like Netflix to have an international cast.
Hmm.
I think it also just makes sense for a lot of these shows. I think something like a Yu Yu Hakusho, there's a lot of openings there for an international cast that make a lot of sense. But yeah, I do think it's one of those where don't make your main character a white guy. Like that just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, I agree. And now I'm gonna shoot these guys with a pistol.
Bravo.
Look at me.
Look at you go.
So
So,
yeah. So is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we actually cut through our items really quickly, and I could have spent all this time talking about Cyberpunk, but really, it's just we're hoping for the best for the future because it is pretty grim for everybody else.
yeah. No, oh God. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry. Creepy things happened,
there
and
is a lot of weird bugs. Like they're not game breaking bugs, but they're very odd bugs. We're gonna try to compile some and make a video of it because it's pretty wild.
yeah. But yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
don't know
think
if
I
I have
think
anything
that's
else to say.
I think that covers it for this episode of Played Through the News.
Yeah,
So,
so we hope you guys have a great week. And oh my, Christmas is just around the corner.
ho ho ho.
So ho ho ho, and hope you guys all have a good one. And yeah, play video
Happy
games because
holidays.
it's good
Happy
for
New
you.
Year.
I have so many studies that show video games are good for you,
Uh-huh.
and you know what's bad for you? Reading. Don't do that. Don't do that. No one wants that.
Uh, I'm good with both. I think you can do both.
Okay, and if you do play Cyberpunk 2077 and it works, definitely get double jump.
Yes.
100%. All the
Fantastic.
time. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.